Hi all, Paulette here with Back to Basics Mom. I just wanted to show you guys quickly how I prep my cups for getting ready to epoxy them and whatnot. I've had a few people ask me on a couple of the groups I'm a member of, then I've posted my pictures how I get the top edges, sorry, this is my personal cup, it's a little dirty, but how I get the top edges so clean. So I am going to show you how I do that. The first thing I did, these are just the Ozark Trail cups from Walmart, and they have quite a bit of sticky on them where the tail, let me get another one. I don't have any silver ones or stainless ones, but here's one of the ones that already has a coating on it, but they're super sticky right here. So all I do, and this is really simple, is I score the tape. There's a little circle dot there. Then I take my heat gun. It's going to be really loud because you're going to see on this one, I guess they're not quite so sticky and hard to get off, but it's full sticky here, and then there's full sticky here, but on the stainless cups they stick a lot. So I just heat it up for a minute, and unless they come off easy, but on the stainless they're quite a bit stickier. So that's how I do that. And then I take off the lid, and I take a rubber band. I used to have a wider one, but I don't know what happened to it, so I'm on the hunt for some wider ones, if any of them I come across any. But this works just fine. And I like a good 1/2 inch, so I just stick my rubber band on here and make sure it's smooth. Kind of get it up a little bit past where I want it. Now I have this ruler. I do not even remember where I got this ruler. I've had it for a really long time. It's 6 inches. Just a little piece of acrylic. But I have found this works super good. So I wanted it a 1/2 inch. So I just line that 1/2 inch up with the top of my cup. And I use this bottom edge, and I just kind of run it around, and it pushes the rubber band right where I want it, and I just use my other hand and I turn it. I always start at the back where the emblem is, just so I know where I've stopped and started. Now you'll see my hand does still waver just a little bit, but it's going to get us close enough to even. So I get it like that, so it's pretty good. Now, over the course of doing my cups and the course of layers, I do tape and untape probably 3 times. But again, my edge comes out generally really good. Sometimes I have to do a little bit of extra trimming, because every time you take it off, usually you'll get a little strip where it seeps under of the epoxy. But every time I redo it, I trim that little bit off, tape again, do my next layer. So the key also is to do not leave the tape on for more than an hour when you're epoxying. If you leave the tape on for more than an hour, the epoxy is going to be a little too hard. So the edge is going to be super crisp. If you take it off after about 45 minutes to an hour, and then you let it spin another couple hours, the edge is going to soften, and it's going to kind of smooth out just a bit. And that's really nice. So I'll show you another cut. You can see I'm just kind of, I pull the tape tight and just lay it down right next to the edge of that rubber band. Now when I start out, I don't know if you can see here how I kind of pull up the edge and I pull it back like that, because I want to do my overlap. If I do it so it's straight down and whatnot, I get a pretty good bead of epoxy under there, and I'm trying to stop that from happening. So I want it to overlap really, really well. And then I also run my fingernail along the edge of those seams. And then I kind of pull it away, snip it off. Now the really important part, because epoxy is going to get all over this, I just turn it under and then just run my hand all around there so everything is down tight. Now I just have to sand this one down, which I'll show you guys quick how I do that too. It's not any rocket science. Some of my cups I do tape off the bottom as well. I don't think this bunch, I am going to have a bunch of orders from the craft show I did on Saturday, and none of those were in the order guidelines, so I'm just going to do the whole bottoms, which there's pros and cons to doing it both ways. I make both kinds. I like the look of it going down over the edge, but I think they're more durable if you leave the bottom edge silver. My personal cup, I have dropped it in my garage, and I was really glad I did not have the bottom epoxied because it landed right on the edge, and I could feel a little scuff mark right there. But if it was epoxied, it probably would have cracked and all that. So I'm just going to take some fine grit sandpaper, and this is the 400 grit, I think, from the hardware store. You can also get up to 800 grit if you go to the automotive section, either your auto parts store, or I just got it in Walmart. I learned that tip from another cup maker. This piece is already a little bit used, but that's okay. I have one of these soft sanding blocks, which it's pretty used up. I still can use it. This one's only like maybe a 320 or a 240 grit. I cannot remember. But I like to use this to help me hold my sandpaper. I just, hang on, I'll show you what I do. This is the sheet from the hardware store. It's just 3M, wet or dry, because I like to wet sand. I have asthma, and I don't like all that dust floating around, so I do wet. So to start out, I take my whole sheet, I fold it in half this way, and I'm going to fold it. I like to use it in little sections because this sandpaper gets used up pretty fast. It's just kind of how I've been doing it. So I just fold it. Now I'll get 4 or 5 pieces like this out of here, so I might as well just go ahead and use a fresh piece. So every time I'm ready for a piece, I just fold it over again, and rip a section off for myself. I wrap it around my block, and there I have a really good way. I can hold it. I have the grip room on the sides. This is a little bit flexible, spongy, and I am ready to go. And I just take my water bottle, spritz this with water a couple of times so it's wet, and I just sand. Make sure you tape before you sand because you want your edge to look as nice as possible. So, and now I'm just going to go around and rough it up. I try to get in the grooves and around that a little bit. I try to get specifically down on the edges a little bit on the bottom, and I do kind of focus on the top edge just a little bit. I go slow because that's really where I want to make sure everything is gripping, because you do not, that's, you know, where your seal is, so you want everything to be really gripped good up there. So I am still new to cup making and selling my cups. This past Saturday was my first really big sale. I did really well. I was super excited. It was my second time doing this event, but last year I just had like my paper crafts and Christmas ornaments and stuff, which I did okay. I made my booth rent plus a little bit. This year I did phenomenal. I did still bring my my reindeer food cups and my hot cocoa packets, which if you have not seen those, I know I have a video on my hot cocoa packets. I will try to link that below. I did okay with those. And some of the other, like I had bookmarks that were left over and things like that. I sold some of all of those, excuse me. But I brought 22, I can't remember if I brought 22 or 23 cups. I sold all but 11. So I sold half my cups, and I took orders for 6 or 8 more. I took, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more cups, which that was my limit for having done by Christmas because I still have a bunch of orders from my coworkers. So I feel like I did phenomenal. I also got one of my neighbors, a gal that works at one of the other schools in town, had asked me about some other theme cups. She didn't really order any, but I said, hey, after Christmas, I'm definitely going to have some fun and try and come up with a Minnesota Wild Cup. And she requested Harley Davidson, which she is the second person to request Harley Davidson from me. So I'm going to work on those ideas as well. And I have one other gal who I had a couple of our local school team cups, and those sold out, and I had one young lady who was quite disappointed, but it's going to work out great because her birthday's in February, and her mom and I talked, and I'm going to make her a cup, and it's going to be personalized just for her. So that one's not a prepaid order, but that one will be coming as well. So I'm super excited about how that went. So that is basically how I prep my cups, and I try to do them in bulk. So I'm going to sand the rest of these down, and then once you do that, you want to take coffee filters. Work really well. I do not know why. I think it's because they're not linty, and you can really see the resin. So I buy the cheapest coffee filters I can find. I use these for so many things. I use them for glitter, embossing powder, whatever. But I just wet it down. You can use, if you have like cheap microfiber rags or something, you can use that initially. But I think because this is so fine, it really, I mean, I did not really sand that much, but look how much stuff is coming off. So, and then I flip the coffee filter over, a little bit more water, and then before I go to paint these, I'll get a clean one, and I will do it with alcohol, because you really want to, sorry, I sprayed that off camera, you really want to make sure all the grease and oils and a little bit of debris, sorry, I'm kind of got my stuff precarious, my desk is just a mess right now, because I was epoxying and glittering cups yesterday. I'm trying to get my coworkers' orders done, so I have like 16 cups I have to get done in the next 3 weeks, so yeah, you can see that looks pretty clean now. So this one is ready to take outside and prime. Most of them I do white if I'm doing any darker colors. I made the mistake, I have one I'm working on that's a ombre black to white. I should have painted it black on the bottom and then white at the top, but I just used one of my pre-done white ones, and it was a little bit of a nightmare down here. So I have another request for a purple and black cup. So that one I'm going to prime in a gray color, just to make my life easy. So yeah, so that's that cup, and it's getting covered up, so you can kind of, I don't know if you can kind of see, like, it leaves a little bit of a mark where the tape was sometimes on some of them, but it's going to get covered by paint and glitter and all that anyway, so it is just fine. I apologize if you hear a little bit of a grinding noise in the background. That is my turner working away over there. So I'll see if I can point you so you can kind of see what I got going on. Oh, right over there, here's my turner working away. So anyway, I'm going to bring it back down. Hopefully I didn't make anybody sick. So thanks so much for stopping by. Find something crafty to do today. I will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.